Okay, this is my clipboard with a piece of grid paper over a piece of plain paper. What I did was I mapped out precisely the fire hole inside the fire hole room. This is the door into the rest of the apartment. These are the steps downstairs, and there's a window here. There's also a window somewhere in here, and that's the fire hole. And if I do this, you'll see that there's the fire hole in the fire hole room. And what I did this afternoon was I took these very long 2x4s that we had salvaged from the old kitchen and dining area downstairs. They had been used as part of a false suspended ceiling. And what I did was I cut them exactly to the length of the floor, and then using a rubber mallet pounded them in place. They're very tight and they're very secure. They do bow a little bit when you walk on them because the floor is bowed underneath. But I'm gonna take a walk over here to the more secure part, and I'm just gonna do a pan. Okay, so I've got 7 2x4s that are each 13 feet 2.5 inches long, and they butt up tight against that end of the room and against this end of the room. And eventually what Eddie and I are going to do is we're going to shop around for some 3/4 inch plywood, and we're going to get some cabinet screws, and we're just going to put like maybe a 4 by 8 foot piece here and a 2 by 8 foot piece here to cover the hole. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use I have some scrap plywood that we've been using to cover this hole when we had our contractor's ladder stretched across it. We had these 3 pieces of wood, and it was very safe, but it felt very precarious. So now that I've got at least this structure in place that can support some plywood, I'm going to go ahead and put some plywood over that hole so that we can walk on top of it. And I believe, you see, I believe this. Yeah, we had. Let's see, we had that in the middle, and something like we had this. This other piece, something like that. Yeah. And then we got this one last piece. I'm just gonna set this over here. Okay, there. Now at least now we can walk across this, and that feels nice and solid. And at least now we don't have to, we don't get that vertigo feeling of seeing the downstairs while we're crossing over this. At least for now, this covers up the hole as a temporary solution. And like I say, we're going to get larger sheets of uniform plywood and some cabinet screws, and we're going to screw them down, and that'll be a good temporary platform that'll support us as we're walking across it. Okay, that's pretty good.